Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well. We are moving on to our next concept, but first we're going to do a practice problem here to review the exterior angle theorem. So go ahead and solve this problem and find what x is first and then what the angle D is equal to. All right, so we are moving on to isosceles and equilateral triangles. So we are going to use properties of those two types of triangles to be able to find side lengths and angles. So what is an isosceles triangle? So isosceles triangle means that you have two sides that are equal, which means that two angles are equal, and then you have a third side or the base that is different. Okay, so it looks kind of like this. What is an equilateral triangle? Well, it has equal in it, so all sides are equal, all angles are equal. Okay, so those are the two things you need to understand so that we can set things up and be able to solve them. So here is an example of something that you would see. And again, because I'm not at school, I don't have my Elmo, so I did another document that has the work on it. But you can see based on this that two sides are equal, which means it is an isosceles triangle. So that means that automatically you know that the angle y has to be 52 degrees because these two angles are the same since these two sides are the same. Okay, and so because of that, you know y has to be 52, and then we know that this whole triangle is going to be 180, so we would take 180 and subtract 52 twice to be able to find that. And so let me pull up this other thing. Okay, so you can see y is equal to 52. Now we can set up our angle. The angle of 14x plus 6 plus those two 52s is equal to 180. And then we go down and solve for x and then plug it back in to find that that angle is 76. Okay, again, you can always check your work to make sure you did it correctly by adding your answers together and making sure that they equal 180. Here is another type. Okay, another type of problem. We know again that this is isosceles. So that means that these two angles are equal to each other. So that would be the first thing that we would need to do. Let's pull up this next one, this next example. Okay, so we're going to set those two angles equal to each other. So 3x minus 2 is equal to x plus 38. You're going to solve it and find that x is 20. And then if you plug it into just one of the equations, you're going to find both of those angles because they're equal. So I just plugged it into this x plus 38. 20 plus 38 is 58. So that means that these two angles are 58. So if you subtract everything from 180, you find that this is 64. Okay, it's just that whole working backwards. All right, so here's an example of having to find side lengths. And again, you can see that those two sides are equal. So that means that we're going to set them equal to be able to solve. So if we go to example 3 right here, you'll see that 3x minus 1 is equal to 11, and we would solve, and x would be equal to 4. Okay? Sometimes they are just going to be as simple as that. So don't think that you have to make it more complicated just because you think it's too simple. All right, so here's another one. Again, those two sides are equal, so that means we're going to set those two equal to each other. So if we pop back over here to example 4, we have 2x minus 9 is equal to x plus 5. We solve it and we find that x is equal to 14. Okay, so this is really good equation solving practice for you, and what we did at the beginning of this week is good. If you are still struggling with equation solving, that's something you probably need to come to office hours and work with because those are skills you need to hone in on. Okay. All right. Let's go to this next one. All right. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you can see it better. So notice that all three sides are equal. They all have this hash mark. They all have different things, and we can't set three sides equal to each other because there's no way to do an equation that's that way. So you just choose two sides to solve, and that is going to get you to an x value. So I did this, if you look here at example 5, I did this choosing each different pair. So I did it 3 different ways. I did it to where you could say 4x plus 8 equals 3x plus 12. You could say 3x plus 12 equals 6x. You could say 6x equals 4x plus 8. And I did that so I could show you that no matter what, you're going to get x is equal to 4. Okay? There is not a way for you to screw this problem up, no matter which side you choose. Okay? So when it comes to a problem like this where everything is equal, you just choose to solve your problem, and then that would be it. Okay? All right, so let's look at this one. This one looks more intense. Okay? It just has that look of being a little more intense, but it's not. Okay, because we know our rules about things that are the same. So you'll notice that this angle, the 8y minus 16, is equal to 72. So that means we can set them equal to each other and solve it. So again, if we pop over here to example 6, we just set up 8y minus 16 equal to 72. We solve it for y, and we get y is equal to 11. And once you know the y, and you know that this is 72 and this is 72, well, you have a rule that says all three angles add to be 180. So you would say 180 minus 72 means that it has to be 36 degrees. So 9x equals 36, so x is equal to 4. Okay? And the nice part about me having this explanation thing here for you is you should be able to use this for your practice and be able to get some good help as you're working through stuff. Okay, so those are a lot of examples, I get it, but I'm going to have you do a little bit of practice now so that you can practice some of these skills on your own and see how you do. So here's the first one. You just need to solve for x. And because these two angles are equal, that means these two sides are equal based on our isosceles triangles. So take a minute, set your equation up, solve for x. All right, well, hopefully you guys didn't second guess yourself on that one because the answer does come out to be 5.5. So hopefully you recognize that it's just a decimal answer. It's okay. That's all you had to do. Okay, here is another example. Okay, notice in this one, or another practice, notice in this one you have two angles that are 3x minus 4 because they say that these two angles are equal. So set this up and solve for x. All right, I hope you guys did okay on that one as well. That basically is, oops, go back. That basically is just a triangle sum theorem, right? Because that one, other than recognizing that the two angles are the same, you're adding them all up to 180, okay? All right, last practice for you guys. You should notice that this is an equilateral triangle, and so that means all your sides are equal, so go ahead and set up your equation and solve. Okay, so hopefully, again, you didn't panic because you ended up with a decimal, okay? So last practice. And this one, you're going to have to do some work with equation or with sides and with angles. So the first thing for y is going to be your sides, and x is going to be dealing with your angles. So set them up in two separate equations and solve. All right, so hopefully you guys were able to set up the two things. So 5y minus 1 equals 2y plus 11. Solve that one out. And then again, you should have noticed that there were two of your angles were 2x plus 5. So you should have two of those plus 3x minus 5 equals 180. And that would have gotten you your equation and answers. Okay, so we are going to do, you are going to be working through a 2-question exit ticket today. And you need to get both of them correct in order to get credit, but we're just practicing these same skills. And like I said, primarily once you get your equation set up, it is just equation solving. So if that is something you are still struggling with, please come to office hours, shoot me an email or a text and let me know so that I can help you with it. Okay, have a great day and a fantastic weekend, and I will see y'all on Monday.